Hey guys, in this video we're going to be talking about our clarinet and saxophone reeds and assembling our mouthpieces. Now we start with our reeds, and your reed probably looks something like this in a plastic case. We've got the clarinet reed and the saxophone reed. Now to take the reed out of the case, you just grab it here where the plastic is missing and you pull it straight out. And it's really important that you're careful to only touch the reed on the darker brown part. Where the brown is the lighter color, the reed is thinner, and if you touch it there, you can break it. If you look at it on the back side, you see there are some words, and that is the name brand of the instrument as well as the thickness of the reed, and that's where your fingers should go. Your fingers should go where the words are. Now, if we're comparing the sizes of the reeds, we have the clarinet reed in my right hand and the saxophone reed in my left hand. So you can see that the clarinet reed is a little bit smaller and the saxophone reed is a little bit bigger. Now, the most important thing that you need to understand about a reed is it's delicate. The closer you get to the tip, the lighter the color gets and the thinner the reed gets, and you really never want to touch the tip of the reed or hit the tip of the reed on anything. It can chip, it can break, and once it's broken, it has to go in the trash. You can't use it to play anymore. So we have to be very, very careful. Now, the second thing we have to know about reeds is that they don't work when they're dry. So the very first thing you want to do with your reed is put it in your mouth. You're going to use the moisture in your mouth to wet your reed, or the spit, you might call it, in your mouth to wet your reed. And you're going to put it in your mouth about that much. So the light part of the reed essentially goes in your mouth, just like this. And the dark part where you grab it with your fingers, that's the part that hangs out of your mouth. And you want that to be in your mouth the entire time you're assembling your mouthpiece. Now I'm going to put my reeds to the side because I'm going to be talking to you, but the entire time you're doing these next steps, you need to be with your reed in your mouth so that it's getting wet and ready to play. Now we're going to talk about how to put together our saxophone neck with our mouthpiece. Take the mouthpiece cap off with our mouthpiece and our reed. So the first thing you want to do is, if you have a mouthpiece cap that looks like this, you want to take it off and put it down in your case. And then you've got your ligature. Now my ligature is black. Yours might be silver or gold, but you're going to take the screw and you're going to loosen it up a little bit, not all the way. It should not completely come off. And then once it's loose, your ligature should be able to go up over the top of your mouthpiece. So up like this to take it off. Put your ligature down in your case. You'll be getting that out in just a moment. Now we have our saxophone mouthpiece, and you can see on the bottom of the mouthpiece, you've got a hole here. That's where the neck will connect. And then on the back of the mouthpiece, you have a hole here and a flat side. This is where your reed is going to go. Your reed is going to lay on the flat side and it's going to cover the hole in the back of your mouthpiece. Now we connect the mouthpiece to the neck of the saxophone. The neck of the saxophone has a key right here, and you have to be careful when you're grabbing it that you don't Hulk smash, squeeze that and bend one of these, or bend the rod or the key so that it no longer seals this hole correctly. You can grab it, you can touch it, just be careful that you don't squeeze it too much. And then we've got the brown stuff on the end of the cork, with the brown stuff on the end of the neck, which is called your cork. And you're going to need to get your cork grease out of your case. It looks like this. Looks like a tube of chapstick, but it's not chapstick, so please don't put it on your lips. It doesn't taste good. But you're going to get your cork grease out of your case. You'll take the top off, put the top down in your case. Notice we're putting everything in our case so that it's all in one nice safe place and we don't lose it. And you're going to turn the bottom of the cork grease until the grease comes up a little bit. And then you just like you would put it on your lips, you rub it on the cork all the way around. And once you put it on the cork, you can see it gets kind of clumpy all the way around. You're just going to take your fingers and you're going to rub it in and you're going to smooth it out. And once you're done, it should be all rubbed in and your cork should be slippery and not dry and sticky. If your cork is still dry and sticky, then you need more cork grease. So once you've greased your cork, you're going to take the cork side of the neck and the open end of the mouthpiece, and you're going to line those up and push and twist. And you don't have to push it all the way on. You're going to have approximately that much cork showing out of the end of the mouthpiece. And then make sure that the hole in the back of the mouthpiece lines up with the hole on the neck. They should be on the same side. If your mouthpiece looks like this, where the hole of the neck is here and the hole of the mouthpiece is here, then that's not correct. We got to make sure that they're on the same side. So the hole of the neck lines up with the hole on your mouthpiece. And then that's all nice and lined up and perfect. Now the entire time you're putting these parts together, you should have your saxophone reed in your mouth. The light color portion of the reed is in your mouth, and the dark color is hanging out, and you're getting it wet. And then once your reed is sufficiently moistened, you will come to your mouthpiece. See the flat side with the opening that we talked about? You've also got a flat side on your reed. It's where the words are written. You're going to take those and you're going to line them up. You're just going to lay the reed on top of the mouthpiece. And you're going to use your thumb to hold it on. Now, when you line it up all correctly, it should look like this. You can see that the reed is now covering the hole that was on the back of the mouthpiece, and it's also lined up with the top of the mouthpiece here. The top of the mouthpiece and the tip of the reed are the same shape, and they should line up perfectly. And you're holding the reed right now with your thumb. Then you're going to take your ligature. Your ligature has a skinny side and a fat side. And if you're not sure which is which, then try it. If you try to put your ligature on and it won't go any farther than that, then you have it upside down. You want to take it off, turn it over, and then put it over the top. Be very careful that you never touch the tip of the reed. Don't hit the tip of the reed with the ligature. Don't touch the tip of the reed with your fingers. My ligature is a black ligature, and my screw is on the outside of my mouthpiece. So this is the inside of the mouthpiece where the reed goes, and the outside of the mouthpiece on my ligature is where my screw is. Now I'm going to show you a clarinet ligature that I have that's metal, and you can see this one's different. It's got the screws on the same side as the reed. And then on the outside of the mouthpiece, there are no screws. There are saxophone ligatures that look just like that, where the screws are going to be on the same side as the reed. The general rule is whenever you're looking at the reed, the screw should be on the right side. So if I were to put my ligature on incorrectly, just to show you, and I'm looking at my reed, then the screw is on the left side, and that tells me automatically my ligature's not on right. So I'm going to take it off, carefully put it over the top so that I'm not breaking my reed, and now I'm looking at the reed and the screw is on the right side. That is correct. And then the last step is just to make sure that the reed stays lined up, covering the hole in the back, stays lined up at the tip, and then tighten the screw, righty-tighty. To tighten the screw, you don't have to tighten it a lot, just a little until it keeps the ligature on and the ligature isn't moving. Now, the general rule is the ligature should be, it's kind of hard to see, the ligature should be below where the darker brown color of your reed starts. Or if we're looking at this side of the mouthpiece, you can see there's kind of a slope here. The ligature should be below where that slope ends. And you can see that mine is. I could even loosen it, push it down a little, and tighten it again so that you can see it better. You see where that slope ends right there? Your ligature should be below that slope. And it should be below where the brown of the reed starts. So this is what our saxophone neck, mouthpiece, ligature, and reed look like when they're put together. And this is the part of our saxophone where we start to make our first sounds.